Okay, so Jessie's speech is titled A Wake-Up Call, Disrupt and Transform. Jessie is active and enjoys outdoor activities. Last year, she did a trekking trip to India and completed 3 overseas trail runs. Sounds amazing. In this lockdown period, her body reminded her to take a break to be able to recover from an old injury. And she's just got her knee, I think her anterior cruciate ligament operation done 2 weeks ago. So I really hope you're on the mend, Jessie. Welcome and good luck with your speech. Please welcome Jessie.
Good evening, everyone. Just apologize, a very poor preparation because of the operation, and also I was occupied by an online course. Sorry for that. So tonight I want to share my reflection about this time period. It's about a wake-up call, disrupt, and transformation. Our world is not going to be the same as before. After COVID-19 happened, no matter where you live, rich or poor, I believe all would agree that with this statement. Our life is just totally disrupted in one way or another. Many businesses are struggling to survive. Many people worry about job loss. Many students are not able to go abroad to pursue their education as planned. Of course, more people are suffering in health impact as we saw the news day by day. There are too many impacts in all aspects. It highlighted all the issues that UN Sustainable Development Goals want to address. It's a wake-up call to ask for action. So I'd like to focus on what we can do on a personal level to overcome fear or hope. 3 things I suggest all take actions to transform yourself. First, master digital skills and expand your skill set. Second, reconnect. Third, make a 1-minute video for a social agenda you care and share with your networks. First, get yourself mastered in digital skills and expand your skill set. You know, before COVID-19, I thought I was okay in coping with technology. Since I moved to Singapore 13 years ago, working from home has been part of my life. And banking job, in my day-to-day job, I deal with process automation. So making conference calls, running online trainings to colleagues in different locations is pretty normal to me. But recently, when I was asked for recording a short interview video on my own, instead of being shooting by a professional filming team for a global award event, I struggled. The video was going to share globally. It needs to look professional. But there's so many details that I need to manage at some time to make a good result. I was not familiar with the skills to look professional in front of video. It becomes so inefficient to complete a simple task. Since COVID-19, all the business were forced to change their operating model dramatically. Now, most business have to be able to perform online. So for a personal level, there's no more room for resistance to the digital mega trend or wait for a later time. You have to make efforts in mastering it and picking up new skills that could help your career to adapt or even leading the change. Good news is that many trainings are now available online, and it takes much longer course to get the world-class training. Recently, I took 2 online courses from Harvard and Oxford University. Although it's very demanding, but the course content are great. I'm able to interact with global students in a very effective way. It opened my eyes. I never thought that to take another world class, and this opened a new door for my future. And the better news is that Singapore government subsidized skill training programs. So I had a chance to transform myself without paying any course fees. So if you have not taken any online course to utilize government's Skill Future program to expand your skill sets, just do it. There's no more excuses and don't wait for another time. Second suggestion, reconnect. Reconnect with people you haven't talked for a long time and reconnect with yourself for your mind and your soul for mental health. The lockdown stopped us from meeting our loved ones in person. But it doesn't stop us to connect with people through video calls. In the past, we might spend more time with people who live in the same city, but then we neglect our dear friends or dear people we met in our past. But now, no matter how far the person lives, it's all the same. It's easy, make a video call, and we can start a new chapter together. And it's so important for have a balanced mental health in this time. So give yourself a little bit time to quietly and look deeper in your inner need. The mental health will help you to face all the challenges in a better way. Last but not least, make a 1-minute video call for a social cause, care, and share with your neighbors. Many of you know Nas Daily and how powerful his 1-minute video to make an impact. There is urgent need to scale positive changes to help sustainable development agendas. So, integrate your knowledge and put in all the video skills that you learn and try to convey your message in a powerful way to help accelerate the impact. The world is not going to be the same. And we are going to have to adapt this new normal. And it's quick action, and we don't have much time before the changes us. So getting your new skill set, reconnect with people in your inner world. Then action in making a video to spread positive impact. Toastmaster of evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Jessie. That was really, really interesting. And I think we will resonate with many things he said about mental health. And I think one thing that I sort of took out of that presentation was this thing about like online learning, because I find it quite difficult to learn alone with just a screen in front of you. And I think you were talking a lot about interaction and creating, you know, interactive videos and things. And I think that's something that we all have to find a way to get our little fix of, you know, without that sort of pleasant aspect of seeing people day to day. So really interesting, thank you. And I really hope you're feeling okay with your knee. Okay, our second speaker tonight is Xavier, who is doing a level 3 project 2 on voice variety. Could we have, so I won't do the time again because it's the same timing, but could we have Peter read out the project objective? Oh, you're here, Peter. Yes, go ahead.
Xavier, you're fortunate because you only have 1 project objective today, not 4. And we would like to know a little bit more of your high pitch and your low pitch and every of the other vocalities in between. Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, so Xavier's speech is titled A Sense of Urgency. Xavier enjoys good food, great conversations with smart people. He believes that looking at situations with the positive in mind is the key to overcoming this challenge. Welcome, Xavier.
Toastmaster of the evening, ladies and gentlemen. Please just tell me, have you ever heard the phrase, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger? Raise your hand if you have. Thank you. And would you say that CB has made you stronger? Maybe? Well, let me be very honest with you. CB for me has really not been a good time. It's been quite terrible. However, as I try to be a positive person, I do want to share with you some of the things that have made me hopefully a little bit stronger. Now let's go back a few months. CB for me really had 3 phases. The first phase is what I would call the angry phase. Now 2 weeks into the CB, it was just hell. I just couldn't do it. I was busy. My boss was on my back. The company in the US didn't believe that COVID-19 was even happening. However, since we're all working from home, they would say, fantastic. You can work 24/7 now. You'll have a Zoom call at 2 in the morning. Great. Excuse me? Just completely out of their mind, those people. And anger was my answer. My job was hell. My relationship was breaking down, and we were all stuck at home together, screaming at each other from morning to night. Then I went into the second phase. The second phase is what I call despair. See, I made a very, very big mistake. I checked Facebook. And I saw those people who told me, oh, lockdown is amazing. I love it. I just redecorated the house. I learned how to cook. I read a book. I wrote a book. This is so wonderful. This is going to be my new life. And I'm looking at myself, what? I'm just working myself silly, exhausted. And those guys are just having a holiday. What am I doing wrong? What is wrong with me? Now, in the meantime, something also happened to me, which leads me to the third phase. See, when COVID-19 happened and the lockdown started, suddenly we all lost our freedom. Now, we all understand why. There's no problem there. We all agreed to what we did, being locked down at home. But yes, we lost our freedom. It's just a fact. Now, what hit me very strongly at the time is that all those opportunities before the circuit breaker or the lockdown that I had and that I did not take looked like an amazing waste. And I was looking at the past saying, all those times that I did not take on volunteering opportunities, all those times that I did not put myself present for another person who I care about, all those times when I did not say, I'm sorry, or I care, or I want to help you. All those opportunities were just wasted. And this is where my anger, my screaming anger, and my despair really came from. So my third phase was, what is possible now? What can I do? Reality really hit me hard in the face. Number one, I am healthy. I did not get infected. I did not infect anyone. And you know, there's like 13 million people infected today. Reality number two, I kept my job. Yes, it was hard working from home where we are all used to do things in the office, but I did not get fired or put out of a job. Reality number three, I have somebody who loves me in my home. Some people went through the lockdown alone by themselves. And reality number four is my family and friends are all healthy. So really, there's nothing I should be complaining about. Now, all this really got me to think and to look really, really closely at my life. And the really one thing is that wasted opportunity that I had. What was missing before COVID-19 was a sense of urgency. See, when you're alive and healthy, you think you have years ahead of you, you have decades to get things done. But reality is you don't. Something could happen It could be a pandemic, it could be an accident, it could be anything. And so that sense of urgency that was missing is now very, very strong with me. And as I'm going out of the lockdown and I can start, to get my freedom back, I really intend to look at what's possible for me. The real question is, what is my goal? What do I want to be? Who do I want to be? Now, as I'm going to close that quick sharing, I just want to leave you with two thoughts. The first one is, if you relate it to the feelings I just expressed, the anger and the despair, I suggest you give yourself a break. There's very likely a lot of other people felt like you. Even people who pretended that the lockdown was wonderful and they got so many things done, I'm sure that it was not that easy. That's just Facebook posts, okay? The second is, if you have the same sense of urgency that I now have, maybe you can take a look at what your objectives are and make sure that you look at the possibility of who and what you want to be. As for me, I'll be very honest, I'm still a work in progress. I have not figured it out. However, as I just said at the beginning, I want to look at it positively. All that anger, all that depression, it has made me a little bit stronger. Thank you.
Thank you. That was a very powerful speech, and I admire the honesty, raw honesty there, of showing your weakness, which is a brave thing to do, but also coming out the other side and realizing that there's a lot to be grateful for. I resonate with almost everything Xavier said in that presentation. Okay, the final prepared speech is Suet, and she is doing a project 10 to inspire your audience. And it's actually an 8 to 10 minute presentation. So Rajul, could you just give Suet a run through of the timings?
Yes, hi. So for Suet, it's going to be, oops, I don't have it, but I'm imagining 8, I should give you a green, 9, it's 8 to 10 minutes, right? So yeah. 8 will be a green, a yellow at 9, a red at 10, and 10 and a half, it would be a 10. Is that okay? I hope it's clear. I hope they are clearly visible. Yeah?
Yep, everyone's got their thumbs up.
All right, great.
And could we have Ash just to run through the project objectives for Suet, please?
Hi, Suet. So this is your final project of the Competent Toastmaster Manual. So here you are required to do 3 things. Number 1, you have to inspire the audience by appealing to noble motives and challenging the audience to achieve a higher level of beliefs or achievements. Number 2, you have to appeal to the audience needs and emotions using stories, anecdotes, and quotes, and add drama. And number 3, you should avoid using notes. You have 8 to 10 minutes, and I'm really looking forward to being inspired.
Okay, thank you, Ash. So Suet's title is This Too Shall Pass. And she says, as the pandemic continues to spread, one struggles to see the light at the end of the tunnel. One way or another, everyone has been affected by this crisis. Suet shares with us her reflections so far during these 4 months since the start of the lockdown. So welcome, Suet, and good luck.
Once upon a time, there was a king, whose name was King Jumbo, who said to his court sages, I have this magnificent ring, and I want to hide a message under the diamond, a message that can be useful in times of despair. So you guys, come on, think of what kind of message can be there, but it must be very short to fit in the ring. So the wise sages thought long and hard, but came up with nothing. So King Jumbo was so disappointed, and so he complained to his faithful old servant, Yoda. Old man Yoda said to him, my king, I'm not a sage. I'm uneducated, but I know of such a message. Once I served a mystic whom your father had invited, and he gave me this message. I will save it under the ring, but promise me that you'll only open it when there's no way out. King Jumbo was delighted and listened to his old servant Yoda. One day, there were enemies attacking the country, and the king is losing the war. He fled away from the country on his horse while the enemies were pursuing him relentlessly. He rode to the end of the road. There was a huge, deep cliff before him. He knew if he fell over, that's the end. He felt that, oh gosh, what can I do? There's no way out. Suddenly, he remembered the ring. And so he opened the ring and found the message. This too shall pass. After reading the message, suddenly he felt everything was quiet. Apparently, the pursuers got lost and went in the other direction. The king was so grateful to the old servant and to the unknown mystic for this message because their words were indeed so powerful. So he closed the ring and set out on the road. And on the way back, he gathered his army and fought back hard and won back his city. To celebrate the victory, he held a majestic celebration. The people loved the king so much, they cheer and party all night long. The king was so proud and happy. And then the old servant came to him and said softly, "My king, even in this moment, look at this message again." The king said, "Eh? Now I'm a winner. I'm not in extreme despair." The old man Yoda said, "My dear king, please listen to me." So the king opened the ring and read, "This too shall pass." Immediately, he felt a silence fall over him. His pride dissolved. He understood now the message. Yoda said to him, "My king, remember this. Nothing is permanent. As night changes day, so the moments of ups and downs replace each other. Accept them as the nature of things, as part of life." That was a parable that I came across a few weeks ago, actually, as I was going through some guided meditation. So actually, apart from this message, what I really want to bring across today is much more. It's more than that, because would you agree with me that what I told you just now, this message, is really is it a whole new wisdom that you have never heard before? Because really, I bet that you can almost agree with me here, every one of you, that you knew this already deep down in your heart of hearts. You knew this concept of impermanence, which includes our existence on Earth. So this is sort of like common sense to everyone, I guess. But common sense is not common practice because we beat ourselves up so many times over things that actually eventually shall pass. So therefore, what I actually really want to emphasize today is the importance of meditation. And this is something actually I started during this lockdown. I started meditating with the help of some guided audios. So just to clear the air, actually, I don't think that meditation has any specific ties with any religion. It's just a process to train the mind to be peaceful and focused. And talking about focus, honestly, I struggle a lot to stay focused during meditation, even though mine was usually like 10 minutes. And so less than 1 minute into the meditation, you know, initially my mind will then wander off into the future or lost in the past. I could be like thinking, okay, what should I cook later for lunch, that sort of thing. And so you may ask me, why do I find that meditation is important? And I think so, especially in this current context, because I'm sure that every one of us, to varying extent, current pandemic has affected us. At home, honestly, I was driven up the wall by my sisters. And I know for some people, they have conflicts with their loved ones, their family members. Some felt so restless, felt fatigued as a result of the lockdown. And you wonder, when all of this nonsense can end and you can finally have a good, happy day. So the truth here is that we will never truly be happy if we outsource our happiness, if we make it a job for other people and external circumstances to make us feel happy. Happiness is within. And I find that this is where meditation comes into play. The main aspect of meditation is that you want to concentrate, you want to try to nurture and maintain a positive, peaceful state of mind at all times. Before I close off, so I would like to encourage you to play with the idea, to consider incorporating meditation into your daily routine, perhaps. And also, I would like all of you to join me, utilizing the remaining about 2 minutes, I hope, to meditate together. You know, you don't need to meditate very long, so I do hope that you can all do this together. So sit comfortably in your chair. Place your feet, 2 feet, flat on the floor, and your hands on your lap. Close your eyes and soften your face. Become aware of sensation of your breath at the tip of your nose. As you breathe out, imagine breathing out any agitation, any frustration, any unhappiness in your life. Imagine breathing them out like dark smoke. And as you breathe in, imagine and believe that you are breathing in a clear, bright light. Imagine that the clear, bright light fills your body and mind. Enjoy this few seconds of stillness, of peace that come from within. And as we exit our meditation, slowly open your eyes and And I'll stay bring just peace with you throughout the day. Thank you.
Our title is Reflection and Experience about the COVID-19 period. So I thought of using freestyle. Freestyle means that everybody can tell your story, can tell us about your experience, your reflection for this period of time. So I start with my own. Recently, in one incident, I jogged 15 minutes to my gym to reach the entry point. When I reached there, a young lady said, "Mask." I said, "I was jogging." She said, "But now you are not." So my blood was boiling, physically and emotionally. So I said, "You are busybody." Although I learned non-communication from Ihan, but I still using violence language. So when I realized this, I think I must, in future, if my anger is triggered, I have to pause and use non-violent language to explain or just meet people needs. Today, you can tell your own story, whatever story you like. So when you want to speak, please thumbs up. So I can give you the slot to speak, to tell your story. The timing just now, the Evan already said, right? 1 minute is...
Rajul, could Rajul just briefly go through the... Thanks.
Yes, hi again. So it's for the table topics, we have 1 minute, and I'll shake it up like that so everyone can see. 1 minute, I wave the green one. 1.5 minutes, I'll do the yellow one. Little jiggy dance there. And 2 minutes, the red flag. And at the end of 2.5 minutes, you will hear the bell.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, anyone want to speak?
May, could you repeat your question so that it's easy for them to frame?
Okay.
Anurag has his hand up.
Well, it's more that Czaana has her hand up. Is it okay if she goes instead?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, so COVID was a big surprise. It originated from China, and when WHO declared COVID as a worldwide pandemic, everyone was really confused and they didn't know how to pass through it. So everyone was scared, everyone was like, there was a lot of panic. The doctors, nurses, frontline workers were trying really hard to save lives, but there was just a lot of chaos everywhere. But for me as a kid, when Singapore went into lockdown, I was really happy because that meant no school. I don't need to wake up early in the morning. Then I don't need to I don't need to spend time traveling to go for classes. I have lots of free time, so I could catch up on Netflix. I could play lots of board games and stuff. I could watch a lot of TV. But after about like 2 or 3 weeks, I started missing my friends. I started missing going out to malls and movie theaters and going bowling and stuff. So I just started getting bored at home. But now when the lockdown has been lifted, in school I get to meet all of my friends. I get to, go to lots of places. I mean, it's not normal yet, but it's a lot better. And I'm really grateful, and I'm counting my blessings that all of my family and friends are safe. And yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
So today we don't have a particular topic. We let everybody have freestyle, can say anything, any story, any incident you came across during this period of time for the reflection and experience.
Adya?
Hello, my fellow Toastmasters. I'm a new member of Toastmaster. My name is Adya. I'm 13 years old and I'm a student at SAI Singapore. As you all know, we have recently encountered a global pandemic which has caused us to stay at home and has changed our lifestyle in many ways. Instead of interacting with people face to face, we now have to interact with them virtually using things like video chats. I'm sure that this quarantine has been really hard on us as we are all social beings and this pandemic is not really giving us a lot of chance for social interaction. So I hope that all of us are doing good. Quarantine has been going quite well for me because with this isolation, I was able to pay more attention to my studies, have more time to do things apart from my studies, and create more hobbies for myself. It has also built my resilience towards situations like these because it has shown me how we should react to situations like these and how we can continue our work or studies and keep on going during these tough times. I've also learned many things from this experience, and this has really changed my life in a good way. Unfortunately, quarantine has also been quite stressful for me since my mental health is kind of suffering and I'm feeling quite lonely, which I'm sure that that's what most of us are feeling right now. I hope everyone stays safe for the rest of this pandemic and that we all continue to remain sane, even with all of this going around. Thank you.
Thank you. Hui Chin.
Yes,
Yes,
hi.
Hui Chin.
Hi, I'm Hui Chin.
Yes.
Hi. Okay, I'm not sure if anyone actually noticed COVID and other pandemics like SARS, bird flu, MERS, mad cow disease. What is the similarities? So they are actually all related to animals, whether it's eating animals or raising animals. So it's mainly when the animals are all crowded together, they pass on the virus from one animal to animal, and it's like new virus coming out from there. So especially nowadays when farming is all factory farming, it's not like the old times when the animals have plenty of lands to cow can graze on the pasture and chicken can run around. Nowadays is they are all caged. It's not that natural anymore. So actually I'm not sure how many people take some reflection and think about whether this pandemic is the last one in our life, or do we continue with what we are doing now, continue having all this meat demand and they have to continue all this factory farming. Is that going to be another pandemic bigger than this one? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, it's very consideration about this farm factory farming. Yeah. Anyone want to speak? Yeah, Byron? Byron? Byron?
Thank you, May. I just want to
Yeah.
check who's the timer so I don't go over time.
Raja.
Okay, there you are. Okay, I'm going to make sure I
Yeah.
can see you.
Okay.
Learn from my last two speeches that I wasn't paying attention to the timer and then went over time. It's reflections on COVID-19. Many, more than I can say in 2 minutes, and some of my views may go counter the narrative that we've been hearing day and night. I will start by sharing my take on wearing masks in public. So I've been doing my best to avoid wearing a mask as much as possible, primarily because it's unhealthy. And even in the train, so you can imagine what that looks like when you're the only person in the train not wearing a mask. Invariably, people are going to come up and ask me, "Sir, where's your mask?" And most of the time, I will not wear it and discuss back with the person that's asking me to wear the mask. And it happened recently when I was heading into town with Melinda, who I managed to finally get here. Oh, that's another story. So we're in the train and somebody comes up to me, "Sir, where's your mask?" I said, "I'm not wearing one, but it's here in my pocket if you want to see it." He says, "Well, how come you're not wearing it?" I said, "Because it's unhealthy. I've seen the studies, you know, your oxygen level goes down by about 4 to 5% when you wear the mask. And we don't need it. It's more unhealthy to wear than not to wear it." So he would tell me, "But sir, you're not, you know, you're not being considerate, you're being irresponsible." And I said, "Look, let's have a civilized conversation and don't attack me emotionally on something like this." And I found it very difficult to actually break through the resistance to look at this objectively. So it was very, very interesting to be walking around as, you know, the sole person that is going against the grain. And I found that very unpleasant in general. So now I actually understand better, you know, when people are discriminated against or they're picked out for not conforming, what that looks like. And I've come to realize that this has been the biggest inhuman set of actions that we have ever seen in our lifetimes. And this form of no-touch torture has really, really been effective in demoralizing and weakening the souls and the spirits of a lot of people. So it'll be interesting to see, you know, what kind of a counterforce we can exert against all of these negative forces going forward, and if there's still enough oomph in us to not take it anymore and have our freedoms completely bashed. Back to you, Table Topics Master.
Thank you. We can have 2 more speakers. Only 2 more. Okay, Elena. Yep.
Hi, good evening, distinguished Toastmasters and guests. Okay, I would like to talk more about my progress during this COVID-19, and it's been, I would say, it's not, it's both pleasant and unpleasant. It's because that I'm always been working from home, and but the thing is that since I'm not able to travel, and I travel a lot for work, I feel very cooped up at home all the time and not be able to see my friends, my clients. But I also embrace the fact that I've been doing a lot of spring cleaning. And since my house is relatively big because I don't have much people living in, I dedicated several rooms for different purposes. So for bedroom, it's only meant for sleeping. The dining room is only meant for eating or working. And the living room is really for recreational. And I actually turned my living room to a gym. So because during the phase 1 period, we are unable to go out. So I actually bought a trampoline for me and my kid to jump on, buy mats so that I could do some workout exercises. So it's been a very it's very refreshing that you can actually make your house turn into a different part of like a space to actually live in. Thank you. Back to you, Toastmasters of the day.
Yeah, that's what I do also. The last one, any taker? Yeah, Lili. Lili.
Hi.
Yes.
Yeah, this was an amazing experience for me. I want to share two things. Somebody said about farms, the way the farms are now, and that might be cause trouble. I work with and I advise nutritionally lots of people, and many that come to me are vegan vegetarians, and they are breaking down really because of the nutritional deficiency. So when you replace the animal products, you really need to know what you're doing. Otherwise, within 2 to 5 years, your body will really break down if you're not bringing the right nutrients into your body. And that
Lili, sorry to interrupt you, Lili. Can you
Yeah.
hold your mic closer because we can't hear you, and you got such an important message.
Yes. So
Yeah, this is much better. Thank you.
I hope you heard me. Yeah. So you really need to. It's okay to be vegan, but you really need to do the research and eat the food that will provide all the essentials for your body. And why not to go back to the traditional agriculture? I see and I work with people in like not really old age, but they feel so sick and so weak. And I look at my mom, I connected a lot with her during this breakdown, the circuit breaker. And my mother is 70 years old, 71, and she's running a farm, and she's active from morning to night. She works like 2 adults here physically, and she doesn't take any pill, and she is running a farm by her own. And she told me, I didn't feel there is any COVID pressure. She's connected to the animals, she's connected to the nature, and for her it was very easy. So I feel this is a very good chance for us to reflect, because I hear about suffering here, and she didn't suffer. 0 suffering. She was thriving. And I think because we are kind of warned by those who are managing the crisis that this is just the beginning, I think we should really consider our future seriously, and connecting to nature is very important not for personal health, but for the other people health, because we can provide better food and we can avoid this industrial farming outbreaks, and we can even the oats, and helping each other, that brings us out from suffering. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Jessie, thank you for your speech. I enjoy your speech. You share with us by projecting all your conviction. You have I can see from, although it's a through webcam, you have some nice body language, your hand gesture, your shoulder movement, your facial expression, etc. And then you manage to start with wordings. You put up the concerns, the fears of general, I believe all audience are facing, like the job loss, or the students are not able to pursue further study in overseas, etc. And I suggest 3 transformation tips. That's a nice way of sharing in your speech. There are some improvement I felt that you could have done that may probably make your speech more persuasive. First of all, is a bit more distant from the webcam. So meaning like, at least from a distance, right, your hand gesture, people can see more. Because if you're too close, I can only see your fingers. And I know your hand is moving, but I only see your finger moving. You know what I mean? Second, if you need to refer to content, or if you need to able to view the audience, whether audience are gesture or response, whether it's responding to you or not, I suggest that you size the zoom or your content to as more as possible close to the webcam. So when you look at it, your eyes are close to the webcam. So just now during a presentation, your eyes was on it seems like on the other screen, that everyone is seeing your sideway. So the sincerity is discounted. If not, audience may can easier to resonate more with your sincerity as you when you establish eye contact. Yeah. Then third, actually I would suggest to begin your speech opening with your struggle. You share with us you're struggling to create a professional video that need to share with the global scale, correct? That was quite towards later. I suggest that if you start from the beginning by sharing the audience you're vulnerable, easier for the audience to resonate with your weakness. And instead of start with a statement where mention that whether rich or not, poor or students or jobless, job loss, these are common statements that a lot of us, audience, are probably already aware of. They may not able to resonate. The impact may not be as great as, the connection is not that strong. Yeah. Then the third, come to the next one, which is, although vulnerable may be good in certain aspect, but try not to apologize to begin your speech. Okay. And the last one would be your time allocation for your transformation. You spend a lot of time on the courses, end up your the inner mental health, as well as the 1 minute social video call become not enough time to elaborate more. So overall, I enjoy your speech. I hope these tips of transformation improvement can help you further in your next final speech. Well done, Jessie.
Thank you, Joe. Reminds me of a presentation I did in university once. And I went up and I said, I apologize, I've got a sore throat and I can't speak very clearly today. And of course, that just focuses everyone onto your sore throat. So it's probably best not to mention it. Thank you very much for that feedback. Okay, next we will invite Peter Roth, who will give feedback for Xavier's speech. Over to you, Mr. P.
Thank you. My dear Xavier, what a well-rounded speaker you are. You took a very serious topic which affects you personally and turned it into a humorous speech, making almost everyone in the audience laugh, except Rajul and Swatmi. Rajul may be busy focusing on her time, but Swatmi, she was focusing on her speech, I believe. But what I mean with that is you managed to capture the audience attention from the first moment you stepped out there. Bringing in vocal variety with those anger moments is very important. That you act them out to I would say to an extent in a virtual meeting, which you never even would think of. And make sure that you pause just before you display your mood changes. For the audience to know when to be angry and how to be angry. At many moments you shared about us, you can raise your tempo, your pitch even further. And many more times you had that opportunity. Now your despair moments, they were coming across vividly. I could see them, I could hear them. And that's the purpose of this speech today. One thing though, your third point I missed. What about the love, the romance you created after reflecting? Bring these emotions into a vocal variety, and your speech will capture also Swatmi and distract her from her own preparation. And that's something as an audience you will always need to take away. Focus on the dramatization of every single aspect in your speech. How can you bring it across, especially in a virtual meeting? It is very difficult to keep the attention of the audience, but through pauses, through high, low pitches, you will be able to enhance that message even more effectively. As a speaker, you are well-rounded. There is no doubt about it. You make it seems so smooth and easy. As a vocal coach, you can work a little bit more on those high and low pitches. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Peter. Peter is a man who doesn't just speak with his voice, he speaks with his hands and his very soul. He's like an actor. Fantastic example to watch how to be charismatic. Our final evaluator tonight is one of our former presidents, Ash, who will be giving feedback on a Suet Maze project. So over to you, Ash.
Thanks, Evan. Suet Maze, I have only one word for you. Wow. Your task was to inspire us. And I think like Peter, while you were doing the meditation, I looked around and made sure that everyone else on the call were they engaged, right? So you had this one task, and I can tell you that when I was scanning through the entire group, there was only 2 persons who were not engaged in the task that you invited us to do, to meditate. It was me and Rajul. And the only reason why we didn't do it was because we had a responsibility. We each had our responsibility. Otherwise, we would have done it too. Okay, so what I'm trying to say here is that you have inspired us to do something that otherwise we would have not thought of doing. And you made us believe that we not only wanted to do it, but we could do it. So I'm fully 100% believe that you have met your objective of inspiring us today. Okay. And to inspire, you need to not just explain and tell us what to do and make us want to do it, and that's persuading. You needed to also make us believe that we can do it. And this is what you have done. All right. So 100% well done. Now I'd like to tell you or break down what you've done in 3 things that I thought was done very well that helped us become inspired. All right. The first thing was your very good use, very professional use of storytelling. So to tell a story of your own life, that's one thing, one kind of storytelling. But here you're telling us a fable. And there is skill involved in that telling of a fable, which I want just to point out to you what you did well. First of all, you made the characters relatable, both the king, Jambu, as well as Yoda. So you made it relatable. You brought us through that whole adventure. You painted the scenery so that we could imagine the king and his experience. I liked how you talked about the chase of the enemy, pursuing the king to the cliff. So all those were very well described. So you basically created the characters, you brought us through the journey of the characters, and then throughout that story, you made your message clearly. Okay, so that's very skillful storytelling. Well done. And of course, in storytelling, you obviously look like you're enjoying yourself, and that's very important too. Okay. The second thing that I wanted to point out that you did well was your use of emotions. All right. So you were clearly very engaged in the story that you're telling. We could see your facial expressions, and I cannot even try to mimic those. They were very genuine, and they came across well. So the very good use of emotion. Because when you want to inspire someone, you can't just leave it to facts. You need to make the connection. You need to inspire, and that requires moving them emotionally. So I just want to point out, secondly, that you did a very good job in using your emotions. And the third thing was you made us believe that we could do it too. And I think that happened because you not just told us a story, but you related it to your life. So when you made it relatable, it wasn't you preaching a fable to children, but you really took that message and you put it into your own life and you related it for us. And I think that was the key in making us believe that if it could work for you, it may work for me too. So, so those are the 3 parts I thought you did very well, and that's how you successfully inspired us. And if I could leave you with just one advice on what you could focus on in your next speech is pronunciation. So really, there was one word that you used that was very important to the message, and that was the inner peace that you get from meditation. but because you pronounce it as piss, at many points you do, it's quite distracting. And maybe it's a bit humorous. I don't know if that was the intention, but if you could watch your pronunciation, practice the tongue twisting words a little bit more so that you get your message through without any distraction. So thank you again, Shetme. I really enjoyed your speech. You inspired us on a very important life skill, which is meditation. So thank you for introducing it to everybody. Over to you, Evan.